In this video, I'm going to talk about dates automation features that have landed into ActiveCampaign, and they're going to really help you with automating scheduled events that you have on the calendar, as well as evergreen webinars or appointments where the date is different for everyone, how to control the time of day, how to decide what happens if someone arrives late into an automation, and also some of the more complex stuff we can do where you get really sophisticated using paths and jumping around automations to get things really good. This is how happy ActiveCampaign users should be about this, because these features are amazing. Now, the big change here is in calendar dates for automations. We now have a feature that allows us to pick a date from the calendar and set that into a wait step so that we can control exactly when an email is going to send from inside an automation. This is a great feature. For example, if you've got a wait list for something, people are joining the automation as they join the wait list, and then you want to open the doors to register at a particular time on a particular date. Brilliant. You're just going to pick the date of the calendar, the month, the year, the time of day, and off you go. Fantastic. You can also use this for more subtle use cases, like if you wanted to have an email that's sent out, say, on the 4th of every month at 10 a.m. You don't have to specify the month. You don't have to specify the year. So there's a lot of toys to play with in there. I would love to know, what sort of events are you running in your business that you think you might use this for? Hit me up in the comments. Tell me how you are going to use this. And the second option we have that's brand new is better ways to use custom field dates. Now, if you're thinking, what the heck is this? If you've never used a custom date field, I want you to go check out our video on fields, because date fields are so very powerful in ActiveCampaign. The most common use case for this is going to be things like evergreen webinars or appointments. So someone is choosing a webinar slot, or they're making an appointment, and the date and time of that appointment is being fed into ActiveCampaign, and this hinges on the date value. We can now set an ActiveCampaign automation using very human-friendly language to say, I want you to wait here until it's 2 days before your webinar date at 11 a.m. and then you can move on to the next step. And typically that's going to be to send an email to help them get ready for their webinar or appointment and make the most of it. Or after the webinar, to send follow-up stuff, wait until it's 2 days after the webinar, send them a feedback request. There is so much that can be done with this, and it hinges on having the date inside a custom field. This makes date automation fully dynamic, meaning it can cope with any value in there. I would love to know if you're already using date fields in ActiveCampaign, or if you're not. This is something that really every ActiveCampaign user should be doing, and if you don't have this feature in the email service that you're using right now, this is a great reason to move to ActiveCampaign, because now you can automate completely for things that are on a different date for every single person who's coming into this. Let's do a little introduction here in case you haven't met me before. My name is Kay Peacey, and I have a business called Slick Business. I am like the ActiveCampaign whisperer, seriously obsessed with ActiveCampaign. I also actually serve on their customer advisory board, helping them to make features like this truly serve the interests and needs of users like you. I want you to subscribe to this channel while you're here, especially if you're an ActiveCampaign user. We talk about email strategy, automation strategy, and we talk about the technical stuff of how to get it done in ActiveCampaign specifically. Now, when you set up anything involving a date or a time in automations, you're also going to need to choose a time window. And there's something really important that I want you to know here. When you choose a time in a wait step, that is effectively a 1 hour time window. Now, if you hover over the little I next to the word time, it's going to show you this information right there in the platform. If someone's already waiting there and we get to 4 p.m. on February 26, 2025, they're going to move forward. But if they arrive during that hour, so let's say they arrive there at 4:30 or at 4:45, anytime up to 5 p.m., they're going to be allowed to continue. So it's the 1 hour time window. It's not exactly 4 o'clock. The cutoff at the end of it is at 5 p.m. It's also important to know that if you are using a date time field, which you can do now for webinars and appointments, you can't set the time to look at the value in the time field. You have to choose a specific time. That 1 hour window has to be set, and everyone's going to have the same time window. Also important to note that you've got time zone selection. In almost all the places we can choose a time in ActiveCampaign, we have a choice between using the accounts time zone, the contacts time zone, or some other time zone that we choose from the drop-down list. Lots of times you can just use the account time zone. If you use the contacts time zone, know that ActiveCampaign is making a best guess on that based on the location of their servers. So sometimes it's going to be wrong, but a lot of the time it's going to be right. This means that you can now say, I want the email to send on the 26th of February, and I want it to send at 4 p.m. in the contacts time zone. Hit me up in the comments and tell me how you think you might use this. Now, a little bit lower down there, you're going to notice that it says, if the selected date has already passed when the contact reaches this point, what should we do? This is a super feature to have, because now we have a choice. Do we want someone who arrives late at this step, so they've arrived after the 1 hour time window? What do we want to happen? Now, previously in ActiveCampaign, those contacts would get stuck basically forever in that wait step. This was not good, but we now have a fix for that problem, because we can choose. Do you want them to carry on anyway and say, you're late, but it's fine, you carry on? Or do we want to chuck them out of the automation saying, no, you missed your chance, you're gone? And I think this one, continue to the next action anyway, is super powerful, because it's like, can you wait there until the doors are open? But then once they're open, everyone can come on through in their own time. I'd love to hear what you're excited about at this, as there are so many options. It's getting very flexible. We've got other options that we can throw in there as well, because we don't just have wait steps that can use dates in these ways with fixed calendar dates and with dynamic evergreen date values from a custom field. You can also use those inside if-else steps. That's the one where it splits into yes and no paths. This one feature changes the game completely in how we can automate for things that happen on specific dates. You can use it for something like if a waitlist closes at a particular time on a particular date. If they've arrived before the date cutoff, great, they can go down the yes path and be added to the waitlist. However, if they arrive after the cutoff time, they're going to go down the no path, and you can have a completely different email that goes to them and says, I'm really sorry you missed the waitlist this time, but here's how we'll get you on the waitlist early for the next run. You can be really creative with these things. And on top of that, we've got a very powerful feature in ActiveCampaign called goals. If you've never used a goal and you're an ActiveCampaign user, I want you to go watch the video on goals that we have on this YouTube channel. A goal is basically like a magic teleporter, and the new date features allow us to set a goal to say, if this particular date and time arrives whilst you are anywhere else in this automation, I want you to jump to this step right now. This works really well for people who arrive later on while a sequence is already running. You don't want them to get the emails that they were meant to get 3 weeks ago. You want them to jump to the email that's relevant to them right now. So goals are the key to that. If you don't know how to use goals in ActiveCampaign, go watch our video on goals right now and start experimenting with them. They are amazing. Hit the comments. Tell me how happy you are about this. I want to hear from the people who have been waiting a long time for calendar dates to arrive into our waits, if-elses, and goal steps. If you're feeling like this is all a little bit complicated, or you want to do something really sophisticated, you are going to need some more help with that, because there's a lot of options in there. There's a lot of nuance, and we've still got all of our usual wait and if-else and goal conditions involving tags and other custom fields and email activity. That engineering it to do exactly what you want can take a little bit of time. If you want to speed that up and make sure you get it right first time, every single time, you need to be inside the ActiveCampaign Academy with me, where you will have me right by your side as your ActiveCampaign fairy godmother, checking what you're doing, giving you training, resources, courses, and live call supports. Subscribe to this channel before you leave. We'll be here for you with the latest ActiveCampaign updates and with more email strategy and automation strategy as well. And if you do one thing now, if you've not used a goal, go watch the video on goals. See you in the next one.